This isn't so much of a film review, but a cleansing of the palate. Having endured the trailer for the last Indiana Jones sequel and its assured failure, I reflected back on the original trilogy. You see, when I was putting together my review, I decided to rewatch the originals, just to remind myself how great these characters once were. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas have given us so many great films, and of course, great memories. From George, American Graffiti, the original Willow, and of course, the original Star Wars series. Steve has an even greater back catalog, but I'll just list a few of my favorites, such as Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Empire of the Sun, Munich, Minority Report, and finally, the haunting Schindler's List. I'm sure you've noticed that I left out an obvious choice. Of the many films that these magnificent writer-directors have created together, the Indiana Jones franchise is my favorite. There are so many magical moments to reflect back on. From Raiders of the Lost Ark, when I was just a teenage little mayhem, then on to a young man watching The Last Crusade, my favorite of the series, in particular because I love the story of the Holy Grail, and Indy's dad was played by James Bond himself, Sean Connery. If you're watching this video, I'm going to figure that you already know the plots of all three, so I'm not going to blather on about them. Rather, remind you of some wonderful characters and some fantastic, sometimes frightening, I'm looking at you, Temple of Doom, scenes. From Raiders, Indy's dashing doppelganger, Renee
I
Bullock.
want to say it open as well as I. Indiana, we are simply passing through history. This is history.
Then to Temple of Doom and the terrifying Molaram. As an aside, this second film, as with The Empire Strikes Back, is an intentionally darker film. George pointed this out in a recent interview. Now to my favorite. There are several touching scenes between Henry Jr. and Henry Sr., but this one here, in particular, tells you everything you need to know about father and son.
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne. Let my armies be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky.
I hope the previous self-indulgent dissertation provides a point of reference for the next topic. My dear friends and cinema lovers, there is a reason why we have become so disappointed in all the modern adaptations of our beloved favorites. It's because today, it seems, that modern writer-directors are more interested in tearing things down, or as they would put it, updating the past for modern audiences. They deconstruct films instead of honor, invalidate rather than inspire, deride over revere, all the while greedily usurping the original characters and storylines. The question I would pose to them is this: are you not talented enough to create your own stories and characters? Aren't you confident in your own ideas? Why must you deface all the characters we love? Rise and fall on your own accord. For this, you'll be viewed far more graciously by future cinema lovers, instead of just layering, so disrespectfully, your ideas over the works of others. And if not, so be it. We, your customers, will keep our hard-earned dollars in our pockets. The past 5 years of ticket office receipts should be a good indicator of where this trend is heading. As for you, my dear friends, I would ask this: are you tired of them ruining your memories? Good. Do something about it. If you have a smartphone, put it to good use. Do you hate Captain Marvel like I do? She-Hulk makes you want to burn your television set? Solo lost money? Fantastic. Turn that phone around and monetize it. Don't worry about sound or lighting or even location. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be out there. Or how about this? Make your own movies. Start out with a short little story, a little silly dialogue, a few friends, and your smartphone. Make stuff that you would want to see. Movies should be magical. And if you want movies to cast their little spells once again, maybe it's time for you to be the magician. Mayhem out.